Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. It's Monday, July 17th, 2017. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, one of the more significant fights this weekend, I did not do a pre-fight video, right? I'm not here talking my book, but this was a fight I had my eye on. One of the more significant fights of this last weekend was Artur Szpilka against Adam Babyface Kownacki. Right? Now, understand Kownacki, who won the fight, was unbeaten going into it. Now, this is a fight that the Boxing Hardcore needs to get a tape of. Right? I believe I have a link to the fight in my favorites folder here online. Right? This is that fight where style, right? Fight style overcame an opponent's physical superiority. Szpilka is a southpaw. He has the faster feet. He has the much faster hands. Right? He looks to be the better athlete. He lost a lot of weight coming into this fight. But interestingly enough, even though his strategy was to be on his back foot, operating behind a jab, using lateral movement, right? Even though he's trying to be a slick boxing southpaw against a guy who's more of a plotter, who stands pretty much upright, who really can't hide his body, Szpilka gets blown out in the fight. Blown out because Kownacki is a big-time body puncher. More importantly, Kownacki doesn't have to, in fact, get up top of you to hit you in the body. He can actually throw straight hands, in particular, his straight right hand, to your body from distance. So after they would exchange, before Szpilka scooted away, Kownacki always made sure to bank body shots. And you'll notice that he's a big man. He can do it from distance. So by the time we get to the middle of the fight, Szpilka is missing his ribcage. You'll notice that the speed advantage, and it's pronounced in round one, is not there by the end of the third round. Szpilka has been beaten up. It's even worse than that. Szpilka gets so decimated to the body, and we're talking about relatively early in the fight, in a manner in which, let's just say, Deontay Wilder didn't decimate Szpilka to the body. Right? Szpilka is so decimated, his body is so gone, that you're going to notice that he starts to get hit flush in the face. Why? In my opinion, just as a layperson watching the fight, he's so conscientious of the body shots that as Babyface is throwing shots at him, Szpilka doesn't want to have his hands up here. He wants to have his hands down here, right? He wants to protect his body because, in my opinion, the guy's body is in pain. So, of course, Kownacki, who is very accurate, now I'll agree, he's slow, doesn't have the hand speed, but he's very clever, he's very accurate, he's fearless, he knows how to cut off a ring, he's on his front foot. Right? Don't expect him to get on a back foot and dance against you. He's on his front foot, he's trying to hunt you down. Right? Kownacki knew after he decimated Szpilka's body that he could end the fight by coming up top, and that's what he does. Right? Let me just point out, Kownacki must hit very hard, because I've seen Szpilka in fights where a lot of leather has landed, right? The Brian Jennings fight. And I've never seen him look wiped out. like this, right? The referee does him a favor, quite frankly, by ending the fight when he does, because Szpilka saved himself a lot of punishment. Let me also say, too, Kownacki's so efficient that if he didn't get the stoppage when he got the stoppage, in my opinion, he would have gotten the stoppage, let's say 1, 2, perhaps 3 rounds later, right? Now let's talk about the heavyweight division, because you know my belief. This division is the crown jewel of boxing. There's the heavyweight champion, and then there's everyone else, right? I'm a boxing fan. If you asked me, hey, name, the welterweight champion, let's just say the name wouldn't be on the tip of my tongue as readily. And keep in mind, you have some great welterweight champions. Keith Thurman, right? Unbeaten. It wouldn't be on the tip of my tongue like Anthony Joshua's name would be, or like Deontay Wilder's name would be, right? The heavyweight champion stays in your memory, right? As John L. Sullivan famously said, looking around a bar one night, he was the heavyweight champion. At the time, he said, I can lick any man in the house, right? Let's just say a heavyweight can say that. A welterweight really can't. Now, understand, in the heavyweight division right now, just due to the time we're in, you have super-sized heavyweights. Everyone could be a basketball player, right? Everyone is 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". How tall is Deontay Wilder? He's taller than that, folks. How tall is Anthony Joshua? These guys are big men. We're in a big man era. Now keep in mind, my belief is that things move in cycles. That at other times you're going to have an Ezra Charles, you're going to have a Floyd Patterson, you're going to have a Joe Frazier, you're going to have a Rocky Marciano, you're going to have a Mike Tyson, right? But that's not the era we're in right now. Let me point out too, for those of you who remember the 1980s, we were in a big man era then. Of course, the bowling ball that was Mike Tyson came and knocked all the pins down. Well, because you have all of these tall heavyweights, you have a lot of rib cages, folks. You have a lot of lean, long torsos. That's the other thing, too. You'll notice that today, the heavyweights, and I know they weigh, 250, 260, but understand, a 250, 260 is different on a guy who's 6'6", 6'7", right? That guy isn't big. He's not stout. He's tall, don't get me wrong, but he's not stout. There isn't a lot of fat on people's torsos to cushion the punches. So, I understand that Babyface here hasn't even fought 20 times. I get it, right? I get it 100%. But just understand, the heavyweight champions out there aren't as experienced as, let's say, a Vladimir Klitschko. You're in an era where a lot of these heavyweights don't have that much experience themselves, right? Joseph Parker is a heavyweight champion, and you say, well, what are the big fights he's had? You start scratching your head. Guess what? He's actually fought better competition, in my opinion, than, let's say, Deontay Wilder has. Just food for thought, right? Carlos Takam, Andy Ruiz, I would say that those are tough opponents, right? By contrast, Deontay Wilder's fighting guys like Chris Arreola, who accepted the fight on short notice, right? Eric Molina seems to be in play here. He's fought both Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Let's just say I don't place Eric Molina in the same category that I would place someone like Carlos Takam, right? So, you have a weird confluence of events here. Guys who can't hide their bodies. We're not in an Ali on the balls of your feet, big guy dancing around the ring, hard to find era. We're in a flat-footed era. Right? Guys like Anthony Joshua aren't trying to hide from you. They're trying to knock you out. Right? Look at the KO percentages on Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Folks, they're outsized by boxing standards, and these guys are heavyweights. Right now, in that setup, I'm just telling you that you need to look at the fight styles more than you look at the numbers. Style-wise, Babyface here, this Kownacki guy, I think that he is gonna be much tougher to deal with than I'm sure most in the boxing public will feel, right? They'll look at him, they'll overlook the fact that the guy's in a boxing hotbed, right? He's fighting in the gyms of New York City. Think about it. Very hard place. You remember the home of Shannon Briggs back in the day. You heard me mention Mike Tyson. Of course, there's Riddick Bowe. You need to have your game together. Just think of the other guys. Zab Judah, right? You have a whole group of people from New York City in boxing. Joshua Clottey. I'll just say this. This guy's unbeaten. He's fighting in some tough boxing gyms. He has an ability to get inside, even on fighters with more athleticism like Artur Szpilka. Right? As I said, as you watch the first round, immediately you're thinking Szpilka's the better athlete. He's faster, he moves better. Right? You're not thinking that by the end of the third round. Right? I'm telling you, this guy, I'm not saying this guy beats Wilder. I'm not saying this guy beats Joshua. But I'm just telling you, Wilder and Joshua aren't that nimble. In my opinion, they're not as nimble as Artur Szpilka is. This guy knows how to get to the body. Right? Now, in a heavyweight division where we're focused on bigger names, right? Even when they're a little bit long in the tooth, Tomasa Demick, for example, I'm just telling you that this guy, if he gets inside, he's going to cause problems for a lot of people. Right? There are very few heavyweights right now who I feel know what they're doing inside. Luis Ortiz certainly does. Right? I'm just telling you, not a lot of guys know how to handle themselves inside with the efficiency of Adam Babyface Kownacki. Right? This fight is Exhibit 1. I encourage you to look at it in my favorites folder here online. This is an important fight right now because I still feel the heavyweight division is wide open. This is a different era than it was when you knew Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko, rule the roost, had experience, and that a lot of the challengers to them with less experience were overmatched, weren't going to know how to deal with Vitaly's length, Vladimir's jab, etc. Right? We're in a era where really the guys with the belts have training wheels. Right? This isn't the skilled guy on the motorcycle who's doing wheelies. No, this is the guy who has just learned how to ride the bike. Right? Just the fact that between the two of them, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, I believe they've had together one fight that's gone the distance. Something like that. 1 or 2 fights total that have gone the distance should tell you that this era's heavyweight champs don't have a lot of experience. Right? And I'm just telling you, this Babyface guy, he's very skilled in the pocket. Szpilka had the hardest time of his career against this guy. Right? Szpilka is out of gas. Keep in mind, Szpilka has Ronnie Shields in his corner. He shows up in shape. He's lighter than he was in some prior fights. Opening bell, you're looking at him, you're saying, well, I know the guy came in shape. Right? He has the big trainer. And then the train derails. He's methodically hit in the body. He's methodically walked down. Folks, he's finished by the middle of the fight, and then he's stopped. Right? This is an important fight. Remember this name, Adam Babyface Kownacki. Right? I'm just telling you, You can imagine if he signs right now to fight one of these champions, you're going to get huge odds. I'm telling you, huge odds. And I'm just not sure if this current crop of heavyweights outside of Luis Ortiz, right? I'm just not sure if they're prepared to deal with this guy inside, right? And understand the fact that the guy knows how to throw straight right hands to the body as effectively as he does, as repeatedly as he does. This guy is as dedicated to, you know, taking out your body as people like Erickson Lubin are, right? Speaks volumes, right? This guy's a live underdog in any fight he has going forward, right? He's one of those unknowns that you, the gambler, needs to know about. I view this as an important film for heavyweights flying under the radar. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.